Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ podcast, kind of one-off special this week. My name is Mike.
What's up? It's Joe.
How are you, Joe?
Man, I'm good, dude. My voice is still shot.
It is. So we have Lauren and Jason Janai to thank for this kind of surprise episode. And Joe, as he strips his jacket off, a little warmth. Yeah. Joe's going to explain why that is, Joe. Tell the listeners what happened this past weekend.
Well, folks, I've been indoctrinated into the world of Jersey weddings, thanks to the legend Jason Janai and its brand new, beautiful, bubbling bride, Lauren. I was in, I think, what was that, Jersey City?
You were in Jersey City. That's correct.
Overlooking New York City.
Your favorite city in the world?
Right. My new favorite city in the world, besides Raleigh. Unbelievable.
One second.
Yes.
Raleigh's a town, not a city. That's literally, we mark those on two different scales. Raleigh is a great town.
It's a village.
New York is a city. Okay.
That's true.
Keep going.
I can just say, I'm telling you, here's the irony of it. I'm still screaming 3 days later, 4 days later, best wedding ever. Albeit, I haven't been to a lot of weddings in my life. Like, actually, as a guest. As a guest, though, hands down, best wedding ever. I'm still saying it. I will continue to say it. And unless somebody can rise to that, to what we've witnessed, which is what we're talking about today, then it will go down.
There are two quotes that I remember clearly from Saturday night. First of all, you saying at least a dozen times, Jersey weddings are different. If you said it to me, you said it to the table, you said it to Ashley, you said it to everybody. Jersey weddings are different. And that's at about the 10th time I said, Joe, do you want a podcast this week so we can talk about that? But
yes, by the way, you can thank Mike for this. This was Mike's idea.
I said, and by the way, it was great to not only be a guest with you at this wedding, but Jason was nice enough to sit us at the same table.
Beside each other.
Yeah, and well, that was our doing. We made sure at the table. But yes, it was great to sit with you and enjoy the wedding with you. But then at one point, late in the night, and listen, I think Kelly and I danced a lot Saturday night. Marcello and Jill danced a lot, Brian and Tara. But at one point, the six of us were sitting at the table having our great desserts. By the way, the food was outrageous all night.
Ridiculous.
And you were still on the dance floor. And Marcello said to me, he goes, Joe Bunn is a great wedding guest.
Dude, I mean, if you invite me to your wedding and I can make it, I'm going to go hard.
So for you listeners out there that are looking for a spark plug for your wedding and want to guarantee a guest who will be on the dance for the entire time, may drink you out of house and home a little bit, but he will have a good time. That is Joe Bunn. Joe danced more than I did on Saturday night. Like I said, I think I danced a lot.
I was soaked. My nipples got chafed because my shirt was
TMI. Right?
Okay,
that is TMI.
That's too early in the episode, probably.
Yeah.
The shirt was too new, and I just went too aggressive. All right, dude, so should we walk it back from the beginning? Is that
so let's talk about, first of all, the one thing that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
We had 6 o'clock on our invitation, right? So Kelly and I show up, as usual, 5:45, because I can't be late for anything.
Sure.
We walk into this room, and cocktail hour is about to begin. And I'm like, oh, shit, did we miss ceremony? Like, I didn't... But so tell me about this small private, because I didn't know anything about it, and I don't think I've ever... I mean, to me, it felt like a ceremony at a church, but I still would... If I was invited to that, I would have been invited. I would have gone. I would have loved to have gone. But so tell me about... You said you got a text a couple days before?
Yeah. I mean, less than a week, and it was real vague, because I had said, hey, man, number one, do we need to do anything? And then... Is everything else on?
When you said, you said that to Jason Janai?
Yeah, said to Janai. Do me and Brian need to do anything? Because he knew we were coming together. We had the same flight in, same flight out. And he was like, no. If there's a private ceremony at 3, so this is 3 hours prior to cocktail hour, you guys are invited, but don't feel obligated. And I'm like, well, I mean, I kind of want to see the guy get married. Like, it's... And it was in the same place. And then, of course, they just did the room flip thing. And then everybody at that private dispersed. So we went way across town to a bar that had been recommended to us. I mean, it was a full 2-hour gap, you know. And I would say, Mike,
it's funny logistically. I'm kind of glad I didn't get that invite because it would have thrown off our entire day.
It would have shorted your day.
We would have needed dog coverage and everything else. But so part of me, the logical part of me is like, oh, I'm kind of glad I wasn't included in that. But I would have liked to have seen I've seen Jason's father is an officiant.
Yes, that's right.
And doesn't just do it like for family and friends. Like I've worked with him professionally at Rags. The guy is amazing. So I would have loved to have seen him officiate for his own son. Exactly. But yeah, a 3-hour gap or 2.5-hour gap between ceremony and cocktail hour logistically is not ideal. But
yeah.
So how many people were at the ceremony?
Maybe 40.
And did they do that because they weren't doing a first look?
I think they did it for size reasons, Mike. I mean, if you think about that venue, it was really small for, what do you say, were there 200 people?
I think it was just shy of 200. Where was the ceremony? Was it in the reception room or the cocktail hour room?
Reception room.
Where the reception wound up. Okay. Yeah.
Where we had dinner. So
then you go to a bar in between. So how was the ceremony?
The ceremony was short. I mean, not super short. I mean, he probably did 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Very sweet. He was really good. His dad was really good, efficient. They did a sand ceremony. They brought the kids up. You know, Jason has 3 kids and she doesn't. So they brought them up a couple of times for a couple of special moments. I mean, it was touching, man. And he was definitely moved and she looked incredible. Jason looked super, super fresh as well, of course. And man, it was touching. It was moving. And again, I think the pacing was really good because his dad did a good job, but he lost it at the end. He was super professional. He got emotional at the end. Yeah. But it was really good. And then, like I said, we had a couple-hour gap and went to a bar.
Cool. And then you wind up back at 6:00. They had a live band for cocktail hour that were awesome.
The Benjamins. I looked them up. Yeah. The Benjamins. If you guys ever want a cover band, I guess I'm assuming in New York, New Jersey area, maybe they'll go anywhere. I went up to the dude at the end. I said, that set list spoke to my soul. Like they went like Semi-Charmed Life into Hootie and the Blowfish into.
They played The Gambler at one point. Kelly and I were singing along. Yeah, Kelly and I were dancing during cocktail hour. And yeah, I'm 99% sure you got to do it.
Yeah.
It was a fun set list and
killer set list. Yeah, it was mostly like 90s and 2000s, like alt rock bands.
Right.
I felt like, but now that you say The Gambler, that does sound familiar. Why else would that be in my head? Anyway, dude, I want to talk about though. So I'm at a table, one of those cocktail rounds. And when I'm telling you, like the food overwhelm, like the charcuterie board, I was calling it the coochie board and the fried chicken station and the fried shrimp station and then the regular shrimp station and then the lobster claws. So I'm eating as if I'm gearing up to rage. And Brian was like, slow down, fat boy. And I was like, what's happening? And he was like, this is just the cocktail hour food. We're going to go in there for a plated dinner. Like I was eating like this.
And a multiple course plated dinner, by the way. Yeah.
Multiple course.
Yeah. I don't know if that's unique just to Northern Jersey.
Okay.
Because even down by me, I'm about an hour south. Even down by me, the cocktail hours are expansive, but not that crazy. I mean, I've long said that this is why third world countries hate us because when we go hard. And yeah, I mean, the extravagance at a wedding like that is just outrageous. The fact that you can feed your guests all that food during cocktail hour and then sit them down for, what did we have? A burrata salad, which was incredible.
Wait, hold on. Don't go there yet. Because I don't go past that. Because Mike goes, this is what, during cocktail hour, I was like, this food is crazy, bro. And he was like, this is why third world countries hate us.
I just said that. That's why third world countries hate us because it's the decadence is just, it's just insane.
It was
so you don't have anything. What is a typical cocktail hour for you? Is it just
I think it would be a few past. Yeah, it would be open bar and then maybe crudité and then one past thing.
Yeah,
one specialty item.
Yeah,
But man, it was heavy food, and I was like, oh wow, and I kind of had to pump the brakes when I found out
crab cakes were amazing.
Oh, dude, the claws.
It's
Jan I. I mean, he's not going to come in he's just not a half-ass guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like on anything, marketing.
Well, I'll also point this out.
Production.
The location that we were at, Patello's, it is a restaurant that you can rent out for a catering hall.
Correct.
And to me, that often steps up the game of the food because they're cooking all week. Their kitchen is churning out all week long.
It's a real full
It's not
kitchen.
a catering. Exactly. It's not
no hot boxes.
Yeah. So whenever I'm Kelly and I had the same thing. We were at a restaurant that also does catering. Yeah. And we've gotten tons of compliment on our food quality as well. And I think that does sometimes make a little bit of a difference.
Man, I think you're totally right. I kind of forgot about that. And speaking of the venue, you guys can look it up. I think it's Battello or A. Is it Batella or Batella?
I think it's Patello. Maybe it's Patello.
Patello.
Yeah, it's right in Jersey City. Yeah.
Right.
Overlooking, again, greatest city in the world. During their opening, which we'll talk about in a minute, the sun was going down.
Oh.
And the sun goes down when you're in Jersey, the sun goes down not over New York City, it goes behind. Correct. But what happens is, as the sun is going down and you're west, the buildings of New York City pick up the glow of the sunset.
Insane.
And that is now if you're on the Queen side, it's even more beautiful because the sun is setting, if you can imagine it, behind the buildings of New York City. So that's stunning in and of itself. But the view that we got as the buildings for that 20-ish minutes, photographers call it the golden hour.
Golden hour, yeah.
As the sun goes down behind you and the buildings are picking up that golden hue of the sunset, it's just so stunning.
It was bonkers, man. Yeah. I mean, I looked outside and I was like, I've got to get out there and take pictures. Everybody basically bum rushed that area to get those pictures.
Right. But it timed out perfectly because that's as Marcello was doing his thing, which
well, hold on. Yeah.
I don't want to get to. I know you want to pace this out.
All right. Because this was super. This shit got really. This is where things got so not derailed, but so different. So cocktail hour ends
7:00
ish. Yeah. Was it
doors open for the main room? Yes.
Jeff is playing. JSG is playing in there.
Right.
And it's not like Fly Me to the Moon. It's like it's bumping.
There's no Kenny G doors open stuff.
No, sir.
It's dancing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we walk in.
And by the way, it's not even, I've made the point before, don't waste bangers during doors open. Jeff was like bangers. Like he had us on the dance floor.
But no, we did. Hold on a second though, because there was a moment
where Marcello had to invite everybody up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So Jeff was already playing.
Correct.
Very cool vibe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then Marcello made that quick announcement. Hey, everybody join us on the dance floor. And before anything had happened, there were no introductions. There was no first dance. It was probably a good 15-minute dance set.
Easily. Because Marcello was also at our table.
Yes.
He comes over and he goes, hey, I'm getting ready to open this floor.
He primed us. He was like, and I don't think he needed to do that because that room was ready to explode anyway.
And I was like, wait, what did he just say? And Mike was like, we're dancing.
We're dancing.
And I'm like, now? Like, it's on. And I was like, okay. And
there's no warm up in Jersey. There's no stretching. There's no. You hit that. And like I've said many, many times, I love it when I'm lining up the bridal party in the hallway and playing my quote unquote doors open mix. And I come in and there's already people on there. I haven't invited them up. I haven't said anything, but there were already people dancing. That tells me, this is going to be a good gig tonight.
Yeah,
Get ready. You know what I mean? So it took one announcement from Marcello and the dance floor was packed. Yeah.
So we partied. Then we sat and then they did their first dance?
No. Then Marcello at one point said, keep everybody on the dance floor, but just clear the center. I'm sure he said it way more eloquently, but his goal at that point was to keep everybody up, but to keep everybody around the dance floor. He cleared the dance floor and Lauren and Jason came out to the kind of the center. Yeah. And then Marcello told what I would classify as a love story.
Okay. I want to put a disclaimer on this. Because I've always thought that would be the dumbest shit ever. I don't really get down with the love story. I don't want to say I don't believe in it. I just have never done it. And I thought, and I think, and still believe that if done wrong, it would take away from the couple.
Absolutely.
This man is a master MC. I recorded probably a good minute of it just so I could I could go back and reference it. That's how, and I was standing right beside him, basically just holding the phone, like, I need to hear somebody do this unlike any other.
In the hands of a lesser MC, that could have
shitted it up
horribly wrong. It could have felt like it was forever. And he would have lost everybody, but everybody was hanging on every single word, which I think is a combination of two things. It's his skills as an MC, absolutely first and foremost, but also the room was filled with love. And that's something you would think, listen, as DJs, we all know, you would think that would happen at every single wedding, but unfortunately it doesn't. I've done plenty of weddings where you could tell that there's kind of, I'm not saying the opposite of love, but maybe there's apathy or maybe not that enthusiastic or not that vibe.
Or obligation. I feel
that's
like
a great word. I think sometimes people are like, I got to go to somebody's wedding. But it did not feel that way from any guest, anyone in that room. I think everybody was there. They loved Jason and Lauren. They were there to celebrate. So it was a combination of both of those things. But so Marcello,
hold on, can I make one point about this?
Yeah.
Because again, I'm standing basically over Marcello's left shoulder. He has an iPad on a almost like a mic stand, right? And it's not even near his face. It's probably almost more like the below his chin, and he's not reading it. I just want to make that very clear here. If I ever post this video, he's not reading. Right. It's almost like he's got words highlighted so he knows where he is in this script. Yeah. And this was not short. I mean, it was long. Like, he's telling this story of them meeting and how it happened and calling out people's names. But all he does is every maybe 20 seconds or so, he'll just reach up there and just slide it up a little bit. There's no reading whatsoever. Like, I mean, I'm watching this guy like a hawk, like, to see how he does it. And it was really masterful, man.
It's funny. I've had the opportunity to see him do this twice now, because in February, I went to his 50th birthday party. Right. He used that same stand, the same iPad, and he spoke so eloquently, thanked pretty much every single person in that room and talked about what their connection to him was and everything else. And he was doing the same thing. And I never bothered to look. I don't know whether he had a full script or just bullet points, but you're right. The problem with a full script is you wind up reading. The difference, if you're just using bullet points or, as you said, highlighted words, is that you can connect with the crowd. And then every once in a while you glance down, you make sure you're on point, you make sure you haven't forgotten anything. Mm-hmm. That's what he did.
God. Yeah. Anyway, it was beautiful. And there's a music bed that Jeff had the script and knew at certain points, and it was very, piano
instrumental.
Yes. It was super well done.
And he ended it by introducing their wedding song, but again, not just "Here's what was it, Yours" by Russell Dickerson.
Yeah.
But he talked about why they chose this song, the significance of it, what it means to them, and then he went into it. And it was as polished and smooth of an intro as I have ever witnessed. And not that I'm surprised by that, because I know Marcello well and I've seen him perform, but it was a reaffirmation that the man is a master of ceremonies. Yeah.
I mean, let the goat work. I was just over there like in tears. So good.
And then the same thing with the parents' dances. He not only just intro, it harkens back to something I heard.
It wasn't as elaborate.
It wasn't as elaborate, but it also wasn't just your basic, and now Jason's going to dance with his mom. And
how Joe Bunn,
you know what I mean?
Right.
It was, it reminds me of something that Mitch Taylor said years ago at a seminar that stabbed me in the heart. It was so dramatic. He talked about that moment. And again, Mitch is somebody who has a daughter. So someday he's going to be in that position, God willing. And he said, how dare you give just your regular intro with no passion and no personalization. And that has changed. And I've told Mitch this, that has changed my intro to the parents' dances ever since I heard him say that. I'd never give just a generic, and now Lauren's going to dance with her dad. Yeah, they've chosen blah, blah, blah. You need to be in that moment.
Do better. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Now let's spend a couple minutes on Jeff.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. I just want to I'm sorry. I never get like a shitty or throw up or like blackout, but I had some drinks, and it was very emotional and overwhelming and different. But like, so we danced, clear the floor, everybody standing around, their first dance. Sat down, ate a burrata salad.
Right.
Back up, dancing. Back down, filet mignon and something. Back up, open dance the rest of the night.
Right.
Right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
Is that...
at some point, I'm pretty sure the parents' dances and toasts were before the burrata salad. I don't really remember. It doesn't really matter. But they were definitely before dinner. We had done all the formalities before dinner.
Yes, before the main course. Yes.
Before the main course.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good now.
Yeah. So as far as other formalities go, parents' dances as usual, nothing different out of the ordinary there.
Sure.
And then toasts, which were funny and personable, and I thought they were really good.
Not too long, right? Yeah. From the heart. Okay.
And then Jeff opened, and at that point, I remember Marcello looking at me and being like, my duties here are done. And I could tell,
that's right.
He was nervous, which is completely understandable. If somebody was in that position, emceeing for a dear friend and doing it in front of a room full of their peers and wasn't nervous, I'd be like, dude, you might want to rethink this. So he was a little bit nervous, but he nailed it. And I could tell there was a great sense of relief for Marcello that he was done.
Yeah.
And then Jeff took over, and Jeff was just masterful.
Smashed it. He killed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see that set list or that playlist. I mean, he ripped it.
Yeah.
I mean, quick. Like, some songs were just chorus, not even verse chorus, like chorus.
Yeah.
And I was singing along to every word. Mike's over to my left, singing every word. Marcello's out there. I mean, man, all of his DJs were there. Some other DJs were there. I mean, Brian B, Tara, Hi Kevin was there, and Teddy. Like, it was a reunion, man. I mean, it was such a good.
I texted Jeff the next morning. I told him I would score him a 99 out of 100. Mm-hmm. I said he could have had a perfect score if
he played Prince.
If you give him one Prince song, just one nugget. Like you said, he didn't even need to give me 30 seconds, though. If I was just lover or something.
Of the beginning of Kiss. Just that's how fast he was playing. He just went, and you would have been like, I'm happy.
That's it. I'm good. Yeah. Yep. But no, seriously, the guy, and again, ratchet it up and mark it on a curve because he's playing in a room full of DJs who know and listen, I went and I said, I'm off tonight. I'm not critiquing. I'm not paying attention.
Right.
But you can't not. There's no way to turn that button off in your head, and all you could do was sit there and be amazed. That's all you could do. If you were a DJ in that room and you knew the technical stuff that he was doing,
he killed.
All you could do is sit there and go, God damn.
Yeah. And he definitely pre-planned, definitely prepped. But
absolutely,
I talked to him. I actually went when you left, Mike. I stayed a little longer at that after party, which we'll talk about. But I intentionally went back in there, and everybody was striking gear, and he was actually breaking his own gear and stuff down. And he's like, I'm going to be in there in a minute. And I was like, well, man, I'm going to dip soon. I just want to come tell you how good of a job you did. And he was like, man, you have no idea, like, how many audibles were called tonight, like, behind the scenes. Because what we're not forgetting, but what we're getting ready to mention is he had a percussionist, Crystal. I'd never met her in person. I loved her. He had a sax player. I think her name is Gabby. Unbelievable. And then he had a violin player. I didn't catch her name. Do you know her, Mike? She was insane as well. So he's got 3 musicians. And then I think each of the 3 of them, or at least Gabby and the violin player, at some point had a pre-done, let's call it a medley or a backing track.
Right.
So that they kind of had little highlight moments like during when we were eating or even during dancing.
Yeah.
Well, like where these pre-made mixes, because that girl Gabby's like a real musician, writes songs and stuff. She basically had him put on some kind of a pre-mix. Because remember that song that, like she's playing that on the sax, like, and she said I saw her go over to Jason and be like, I made this mix or whatever. So not only is he doing that, and then Mike, go ahead and tell the real audible.
So dinner's over, dancing picks up again, and then all of a sudden, Fat Man Scoop comes strolling out, microphone in hand. And I was looking at Jan. I think he was genuinely 100% surprised.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, nobody in the building, not Jeff, not Bird, not Jason, not Lauren, not me, knew anything about this guy showing up.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the relationship is, but Janai is friends, good friends, whatever you want to call it, with Fat Man Scoop, and apparently had reached out to him a while back, and Fat Man Scoop just said, "No, sorry, I got a commitment that night." As he said, "I can make some money tonight."
That's right.
But then he decided at some point, whatever, didn't matter, paying gig versus doing a friend's wedding. I'm doing the friend's wedding, and he showed up and crushed his. What would you say?
He had a
minute. Yeah, probably a medley, maybe 10, 12 minutes. I don't even think it was
All
15.
I Do Is Win, a couple of his songs. Anything that's just super high energy, hands up, whatever I say, y'all got to do.
You got to do.
And then,
whatever I say, y'all got to do.
He's a phantom. Jason said he walked out, put his air cast back on because he had some kind of a hurt foot. He gets back in the car, and he's gone.
Wow.
And
so maybe he had a chance to make his money.
He took his shirt off. And then he goes, "Joe Bunn, you're a fucking maniac," on the mic. And I'm like, how did I get involved in this? So listen to this. Hold on, Mike. So the next day, he only, for whatever reason, because Scoop does stuff with us for Great Actors, of course, Jana, thank you for the connection. And he only communicates on WhatsApp, and he loves to leave me voice messages. Listen to this message.
"Yo, bro, by the way, you're a fucking maniac. How was it received? How did it go down, man? How did everything go down? How did it come across?"
Like he's so gone. Sorry.
So did you answer that yet, or are you going to?
Oh no, I start. Okay. So then I feel like I'm obligated to voice memos. I'm like, dude, you shocked the room and then left like a phantom in the night.
Right.
And he's like, and then he leaves me this. The other one was super long, and it's about how now at this point in his life, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. And I didn't tell Jason I was coming, and the look on his face was worth every bit of the effort it took to get there.
Absolutely.
And I
so
was
let me
like,
spend a minute on Fat Man Scoop, and I hope you'll send him this clip or direct him to this.
Sure.
Here's what I love about what he did.
Yeah.
I've heard many people say interaction and getting on the microphone and prompting the crowd. You know, that's a term I've tried to introduce to the end. Prompting is cheesy. It's outdated. Nobody wants it anymore. Fuck that. Those were the best 12 minutes of that wedding.
Dude.
And now, does some of it have to do with the fact that Fat Man Scoop is a celebrity? Yes, we'll accept that.
Sure.
But as I pointed out in multiple seminars, you know, Justin Timberlake, when he did the Super Bowl, he didn't just play his songs. He got into the audience. He got everybody clapping their hands. Fat Man Scoop had everybody, like you said, jumping, singing, waving their hands. Every prompt that you could pull out of your prompt bag, he did it with us, and we responded. Nobody, I was looking at that room, nobody sat there going, "Oh, this is stupid. This is cheesy, but we don't want to do this." Every single person was responding to every single thing he said. So if you're an MC and you think, "Oh, you know, I want to get everybody to sing along, but I guess I shouldn't say, let me hear you sing." Screw that. Do it, because that can be a highlight of the night. So thank you, Fat Man Scoop, for proving
God bless you.
What I have said to many, many people in the industry. We, as an MC during the dancing, we have to have our money. Now, I'm not talking about the whole night, because that comes across annoying and everything else.
Yeah.
But we have to pick our spots, and we have to influence the crowd. And he did it magically, tremendously.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Perfect master set, perfect amount of time. We were already at a 9.1, and then it went to 12. Like we went over the scale of whatever a rager could be at that point. And then Jeff just picked it right back up, you know, we rocked till 11, and then the after party.
Yeah, the wedding went till 11. There was an after party, which Kelly and I didn't stick around for. You know, it was a combination of two things. That's 11 o'clock at night is pretty late for us, especially with an hour's drive home. And B, we had the dogs to worry about because we didn't put them in daycare. So we had that gave them a 7-hour window, which to us is the max that we want.
Here was the thing about me, right?
You were staying right there in Jersey City, so
correct, literally across the street. But I felt like I gave 97% of my gas tank to that reception. So I had about 3% left for the after party, and that's about all I had left.
And that was the thing too, because you exited the building through the after party.
Right.
If he was playing like chill lounge stuff,
Right.
Kelly and I might have said, you know what, let's have one more drink or let's stick around for it. But we got in that room and it was hardcore, which is great. That was the vibe they were going for. But I, like you said, I didn't have any more dancing left in me at that point. I had some sit around and talk about how great the night was in me, but that wasn't the vibe they were going. That's not an after party. So, that's why we beat feet. And by the way, I followed my own advice. I didn't bother Jason and Lauren. They were caught up with a million people saying goodbye. I will text him. Are they in Bora Bora right now? Do you know?
No.
Are they
He leaves on Friday. He leaves.
You know what? Then I'll probably send him a text today or call him.
I would.
But brides and grooms have too much going on at the end of the night, especially if you're leaving before the end of the night, I wouldn't have ever said
me neither.
Like interrupt.
Oh, I just go.
Even with that, I looked over and they were super, super crazy. I had said something to him at about 10:30. I had hugged him and said, "Man, thank you for the invite. This is so great." But at that point, I didn't want to bother anybody.
Same, dude. Yeah. Same.
Did anything? Well, I guess a lot of things surprise you. One of the things that really surprised me was I drove to the wedding talking to Kelly about, man, I'm really can't wait to see what kind of tricks Jason pulls out of his sleeve. And when I said that, I was thinking like sparklers and Dance in the Clouds, but a lot of those upgrades he didn't do. He upgraded, as you talked about, the surprises were more personnel and people and talent, the musicians, Fat Man Scoop, which again, he didn't know about, but I'm sure he had something to do with the initial invitation. Right. And then the signs, the people walking down the stairs with the Team Janai signs and the different signs. So that was a surprise to me, and to me it was a good surprise. I can only maybe we can ask Jason why, but I can only imagine Jason has seen sparklers a million times in his life, and he
started those things.
Yeah, and for him, those things are not wow moments anymore. So maybe that's why he decided to leave them in the van, if you will.
The last time we were together, I had asked him about that. I was like, I can't wait to see this, video wall, TV screen, dancing. And he was like, I'm not doing any of that stuff. And he didn't really give, so I knew he wasn't going to do that. But, and it was intentional for sure. I didn't, I think you're probably right. I think he wanted it to be different maybe than his DJ peers had seen, his friends had seen, the stuff they see on his Instagram, down to the venue. Because I was fully expecting to walk into one of those places, Mike, that y'all play up there that have, 7 weddings going on at once, and they're called like the Chateau de Chateau or whatever, and they've got the built-in up lights, and there were these giant Corinthian columns and all this white marble and shit, and that was like the Jersey that I expected to walk into. And I walked into that boathouse, or that Batello, which certainly at some point was a boathouse. It was on the water with 2 yachts sitting beside it. I was like, holy shit, this looks like something in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, like literally at the beach where I'm from. You know what I mean? Like, it was everything about it was so not what I expected.
Let me clarify one thing about New Jersey. The wedding houses, the 7-in-1, there's very few of them left.
Okay.
They have gone out. As a matter of fact, one of the places that we play at all the time used to do 2 in a night, and they've now they've turned the second reception room into a bigger cocktail hour space because most of today's brides want to be the only wedding at a location. So are there a few of those left? Yes, but it's rare.
Okay.
Now,
great. Thank you for the clarity for sure on that.
But I can only imagine, listen, one of the reasons why Kelly and I had a band when we got married was, I DJ every weekend, and I just didn't want to. And so I think some of that might have been in Jason's head. Like I see that every weekend. Dancing on the Clouds for Jason, and I'm sure Lauren as well, wasn't going to feel like the magical moment because he sees it at almost every wedding he does. Sure. And sparklers, your average wedding guest, when the first time a sparkler goes off, goes, holy shit. In a way, the room full of DJs was probably like, holy shit, there's no sparklers tonight.
Right.
He so fully expected at some point sparklers to go on.
He Jedi mind tricked us.
Yeah.
Not Jedi. He Jedi.
Well, and what he did was he boiled the party down to its basics, which again was a great reminder that the basics are enough.
Right.
I say this to brides all the time when they say, we're thinking about lighting, we're thinking about the upgrades. What do you think? I go, look, if it fits into the vision of the budget, go for it. But we throw plenty of great parties. And P.S., he did have amazing lighting. There was intelligent lighting all throughout.
I was about to say,
I don't want to make it sound like
he had super dope movers and washes. And I feel like somebody told me that sound system cost $50,000, but I may be wrong. So hence why I didn't jump on it.
Wow. Okay.
And Jeff didn't play Sugar We're Going Down long enough for me to really get my momentum to get up on top of it. Right. And then once somebody told me the price, I was like, man, I probably shouldn't stand on that speaker.
Yeah, if you broke,
like I can pay for a set of Evolves pretty quickly, but I didn't want to drop $20K, $25K on half of a rig.
Yeah.
Anyway, what a night, man.
Yeah,
I was so happy to see you, man. Kelly, good Lord, she looked fire.
Didn't she?
I mean, yeah. The green, the Irishness in her just popped.
And we got a few compliments. I had a little green flower on my lapel just to match Kelly. And we had a number of people go, hey, nice job. I always like that when I'm DJing a wedding and you could tell a couple did some kind of coordination, like his tie matches her dress or, whatever like that. I think it's
We were black tying it up, man.
And, I want to say that. I loved that Jason made it a black tie affair. First of all, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how many people would actually wear a tuxedo. It looked like
it was
most of the men. Yeah. Well, see, you confused me though, because I thought you had a tuxedo on, but you said it was just a black suit. Yeah. So you were close, but you weren't technically wearing a tuxedo, but you certainly at least looked the part.
Thank you.
I'd say it was 80% of the men were followed the dress code, if you will.
Same.
And to me, I just, you asked me when we started this, why am I wearing a shirt and a blazer? And I said, because I got a lot to do today. I got a lot of appointments, and when I have a busy day like today, I like to get dressed up. I feel different, and that's how I felt Saturday night. I just felt like it was a special night. We were all dressed to the nines, and the women were looking fly, and it felt different because of that.
Damn, what a night, bro!
Great time. Awesome. So this was perfect. We talked about maybe doing quarter. I like the fact that we've gone from weekly to quarterly. So we'll consider this our spring 2023 episode with a target towards maybe doing a summer one.
Yeah, we'll definitely hit the summer after we ripped a bunch of weddings and can kind of circle back on what we've seen.
I like that plan.
That'll be the what have you seen for wedding season 2023, Mike?
That'll be a July maybe or
there you go.
So tell me what you have coming up in the next few weeks before we sign off.
Man, not too much.
Am I going to see you in Milwaukee? No, right?
You will not. No.
Well, sorry.
You might not see me.
Although you're a last minute. Are you sure? Because sometimes you hop on a plane at the last minute.
I am the king of doing that. I get FOMO like the week before, and I start getting texts from people and saying they're going to be there, and I didn't realize they were going to be there.
Just in case anyone's unsure what that reference refers to, in what is it, 2 weeks away?
I think so.
The Midwest DJs Live is happening in Milwaukee. Cool. I will be speaking. I'm actually ending the first day with my seminar. There's tons of great seminars going on Monday and Tuesday. So that would be April
23rd through the 25th. I'm looking at the website now.
Right.
Yep. That's MidwestDJsLive.com. Again, Midwest DJs.
So if you are on the fence about attending that, I hope you get the hell off the fence and make an appearance. Guaranteed to see me. And it sounds like maybe there's an outside chance you might see Joe as well.
Exactly. Especially if you guys live out that way and it's drivable. I highly recommend going. I've been multiple years and always gotten.
I love this show so much. I spoke there last year. Before I left, I got a verbal commitment from Rich, who runs it. I said, Rich, I want to be back next year. And he was like, we want to have you back. And I'm like, no, I want you to commit to having me back. That's how much I want. I love this show and I want to be back.
That's great, man. I'm glad you are back. What you're doing again? Tell me the name of the.
I am doing a seminar on customer service, providing elite level. Get it?
No,
customer service, and it's no, you have not, and it's all about tips and suggestions that I can offer to provide even greater, exceptional customer service to your clients.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
And then later in the spring, I'm not attending Marquee. Are you?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any vacations coming up?
Yes, tons. Several.
Okay.
Beach house with multiple groups from different parts of the country convening at my beach house. So the beach house is split between my family and then my uncle's family. And so I get the calendar, in January of every year, and then I can look and go, I got it this week, not that week, this week. So then in January, I started hitting up different groups of friends I have around the country, couples really, and saying, look, here are the weeks I've got the beach house. Let's all hone in on a week.
I must have missed my text message.
No, we haven't. That is here. You didn't let me get to the fun part because Brian, Tara, I love you, Kelly, Jason, Lauren. Yeah, it sleeps 10. So that is like on deck for like, let's do it like August though, when nobody's working. Or I'm not working. I
am working in August, and plus there's DJX. But if we can work the dates out, I'd love to come down.
Or even September, it's still 89 degrees here. What is the? I thought you were going to like Scotland or Ireland.
Yeah, so Scotland is our big trip. At the risk of jinxing it, because if you remember 3 years ago, Kelly and I were supposed to do this vacation, and I forget what happened in 2020, but something delayed it, and caused us to cancel. But yeah, at the risk of jinxing it this time around, we are scheduled to leave late May. We will be there for Kelly's birthday.
Where is it? Scotland or Ireland?
To Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm so looking forward to it. The photos I've seen, we have such a cool itinerary laid out. I'm super excited.
I got to do better.
Yeah.
So,
and then later in the year, in November, and this is the reason why, I don't know if I've broken this to you yet, but I will not be at Collective because I'm away. We are taking our moms, Kelly and I, both of our moms turn 80 this year. And so we're bringing our moms on a river cruise down the Danube with Germany, Austria, Hungary. Should be really nice. Yeah.
No, I haven't heard that.
Super excited.
That's super cool. Much better than Atlanta for the Collective.
Hey, listen, I'd love to be there if I was around. I'd love to be there.
Of course.
But celebrating.
You're good for every other year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the routine I've fallen into with Collective, so I'll be back in 24.
I'm glad you clarified where the Danube was, by the way. I would have been I would have been like, Africa, or my geography is so shitty.
I know.
Does it sound African?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the Danube is a river that runs through Europe. We're landing in Munich. We get on some city, and then we go down, and we end in Budapest, I'm pretty sure. Budapest, Hungary. Yeah.
That's so great that they're able to.
But first Scotland, and I cannot wait for Scotland.
Scotland.
Super excited. Yeah.
I love that your moms are still able to pull that trip off, man. That's a blessing.
Yeah, thank God. They're both still very active and healthy for 80 and looking great. And I know I've mentioned before, our moms get along so well. So they're in one cabin, Kelly and I are in the other. It was funny when we were making the reservations, we were on the phone together with Viking Cruise, and my mom was like, "Oh, let's try to get adjacent cabins." And I'm like, "We don't need to do that, Mom. We can be down the hallway a little bit. It's cool."
Mike's down there trying to get it in. You don't want to hear how the narrow wall.
Having the moms right next door to your cabin might be a little.
No, we don't need the adjacent. Same hall is fine.
Exactly. We'll meet up at the stairwell every morning, but we don't need to be right next to each other. Anyway, Joe, pleasure. It was great.
Damn pleasure. Absolutely, man. Yeah. Love you guys. Thanks for listening, everybody. We miss y'all. And
congratulations, Lauren and Jason and I. All the best. It was such a phenomenal. It was such a great wedding. We got a podcast out of it.
Damn right we